Feel free to interact. Feel free to use the chat as we go. And let's do a quick deep dive into ROK Financial's affiliate program, which is the best affiliate program in the nation. I can tell you that much. And it's not just because I'm in charge, it's because I know for a fact. So I'm Tony Cimino, our VP of Business Development here. This is my direct contact information. Feel free to screenshot this one. Feel free to write this information down. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. You're going to get a lot of marketing from us. It's going to say my name on it. That doesn't mean it's actually coming from me. This is my direct contact info. So if you're looking to see if Tony actually reached out to you, this would be the phone number I'd be reaching out from. This would be the email I'd be reaching out from. So feel free to write that down. Feel free to take a screenshot of it. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about ROK for sure, but I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to do some research. I did tell you we have the best partner platform affiliate program that is available in commercial finance, and I don't say that lightly. I know that that's the fact because I talk to a lot of people who have worked with a lot of different service providers. And we've literally spent the better part of the last 5 years building our business around relationships like the one we have with you guys. That's why we have all the bells and whistles. That's why we have all of the customization. But really, what sets us apart, if I'm being honest, is the people and is the process, right? So why do I say that? I say that because what we provide out of the box is awesome. We give more than most. We pretty much give more than everybody right out of the box, right out of the gate. It's actually a lot that we give you access to. But what I've learned over time is not everything is applicable to everyone, and a lot of people require a bit of customization. So one thing I want you to know is we are also a small business, right? We help small and medium-sized businesses across the country, but we are also a small business with a mindset of we're going to make it happen. So if there's something that you need from us, feel free to, again, take down my contact information, but also don't take my word for it. Here's a couple of quick reviews from our recent partners that have taken the time out of their day to leave us some reviews. If you do some research, you can look up Chase, you can look up Wells Fargo and see that they don't maintain a very good rating on Google or Trustpilot. A lot of bad reviews floating around. But if you look up ROK Financial, you're going to see thousands of five-star reviews from our partners and their customers who have utilized us to get funding, who have utilized us to help their customers get funding, and really are just telling their story because they want others to know, hey, this is a rock star partnership. So again, don't take my word for it, although I'll brag about it all day long. But definitely do your own research. That's for sure. Some of the things that I want you to really understand today are what are the benefits of partnering with us? How can we help you enhance what you're already doing? And how can you actually generate more business for yourself by partnering with ROK? And then the last thing is what does it take to become a great partner, right? Because everybody wants to know, and one of the things that I would say right off the bat is, trust me, it's not funding thousands of deals a year. Pretty much our core referral partnership funds like 3 to 5 businesses a year with us, right? So we're not looking for this crazy, rock star affiliate that you gotta send us thousands of applications a month and fund hundreds of deals. As nice as that would be, and we can certainly handle the volume, really what we're looking for is a few things, and I'll go over that as we go through the presentation today. Quick story for you, right? Quick story. I'm a big story guy, big storyteller. I come from a family of 3 brothers. I'm the baby brother, and all my brothers did was tell stories growing up. So I feel like I got to tell stories too. But I'm gonna just tell you my quick story, right? When I was back in like 2016, 2015, I was coaching college football. I was not in commercial finance. I didn't know about the alternative lending industry. I didn't understand what the fintech industry was. But what I've seen since early 2017 through now, being in this industry, is I've watched this business and this industry explode, right? And what I mean by that is, you know, realistically 15, 20, 25 years ago, there were not many options for a business to access capital outside of their local bank, or some form of investment into their business. Right now, it couldn't be further from the truth, right? As technology is poured into this industry, as more and more of the big players in just business in general have gotten into this industry. It's really expanded what we're able to do in terms of helping small and medium sized businesses across the country. Some of the names that you might recognize that are in our industry, I don't know if you guys know this, but Elon Musk is in our industry. He founded PayPal. PayPal is one of the biggest lenders in our industry. Goldman Sachs backs a ton of the different banks and lenders that we utilize, and they provide credit lines to those lenders and banks. So there's Goldman Sachs, which is one of the biggest investment banks in the world. You have Chase that has products that for like this. You have companies like Square and Stripe that have gotten into this industry, and some of the biggest players. I'm drawing a blank on some of the other big names, but you can rest assured to know that Walmart, Amazon, biggest corporations in the world, they are literally in this industry offering funding to people that are utilizing their platforms in a very, very similar way. So again, the story isn't about necessarily us or ROK. The story is about the industry, right? And how it's exploded. But it's also in its infancy, if I'm being honest, right? I go to a lot of events. I do a lot of webinars and meet a lot of people. And I would be surprised if there was 15,000 people in our entire industry. That would be a lot to me. Again, I've been doing this for a long time now, almost 10 years, and I've met a lot of great people, but I've realized how intertwined this industry is, how it really is in its infancy. And just to give you some insight, right? If there was 15,000 people in our industry, and then there's 33.5 million small businesses, what you should know is the statistics are between 60 and 80% of businesses look at funding options somewhere throughout the year, right? So we're talking about 20, 25, 30 million businesses that are going to be looking for capital every year, and really only 15,000 people to service that need. I'm going to give you another quick example. There is something like 1.3 or 1.6 million homes for sale in the US, but there are over 2 million registered realtors according to the National Association of Realtors. So think about that market, right? Where there are actually less houses than there are realtors. In our industry, it couldn't be further from that. We have so much opportunity, and it's right at your fingertips. It's right in your backyard. It's the auto repair spots. It's the barber shops and nail salons. It's the professional services companies like accountants, bookkeepers, insurance brokers that utilize our funding all the time to grow their business, to solve challenges. So again, don't take my word for it. Do your research, but I'm hoping to provide some real insight for you guys here, right? As far as ROK Financial goes, there's a few things that kind of set us apart, right? What makes us ROK? It's the speed, it's our network, it's the programs that we're offering, it's the support that we give back to you guys as partners, and ultimately the monetary benefits, right? Whether that is giving capital to businesses so that they can take advantage of it, or if you're looking to make some commission, this is high ticket closing, if I'm being honest. So you can make a lot of money, and we have a lot of partners that we pay tens of thousands of dollars, excuse me, each and every month, really each and every week. Right now, we're averaging about $150,000 per week paid in commission. So definitely get your strap in. Let's kind of dive into some of the things here, right? Speed. What is speed, right? My son is 5 years old. His favorite movie is Lightning McQueen, is Cars, right? And Lightning McQueen always says, "I am speed." Well, I can tell you, we are speed. We move efficiently through every process that we have, from connecting with a business owner to gathering the initial documents, getting them an approval, getting them the approvals that they certainly they've received efficiently, and then ultimately, once they've selected an offer for themselves, getting them from approval to funding as efficiently and quickly as possible. Just yesterday, we funded a deal for $250,000 that came in at 8 p.m. on Tuesday night. We funded the deal by 11:30 in the morning on yesterday morning. So that just tells you how quickly we have the ability to move. We're API'd with all of our lenders, so we get a lot of instantaneous decisions back and forth. Again, not every deal has to move that quickly, but what you should understand is there's going to be opportunities for business owners where they need access to quick capital. Right. And the last thing that you want to do is go apply at your bank where they're going to drag their feet for 10 to 12 weeks just to see how badly you need it. And if you need it too bad, they're not going to give it to you, right? The best thing I ever heard from a banker that I worked with is banks like to give out umbrellas when the sun is shining, not when it's raining. Right. So we're here to help businesses regardless of what they have going on. We utilize their business revenue as well as the affordability to get them access to capital that makes sense. Right. And dollars have to make sense more than anything. But at the end of the day, speed is king, and we can move as quickly as you need. Right. The other thing that really is a major focus of us is our network, right? That network starts with you guys. The beauty of ROK Financial is we've discovered the chicken comes before the egg, right? I don't know if you guys have ever heard that. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? We know it's the chicken. And what I mean by that is for us, we've built our business around partnerships, right? So it's you guys connecting with us, providing us a business owner that needs funding, and then us being able to take that business to market and get them ultimately approved and funded, right? So our network of partners, we're over 17,500 partners strong, as well as our network of 75 plus lenders and banks that we utilize to offer all of their products and services back to your customers, right? So again, as you can tell, I'm sure I'm super excited to be on with you guys, but more than anything, it really is your ability to understand what we do and then ultimately communicate that to the businesses that you work with, as well as being able to leverage what we've built as an extension of the resources that you provide to small businesses. Whew. That was good. That was good. A little out of breath. A little out of breath. I'm gonna take a quick sip before I go into the products for you guys before I cough. A couple months ago, we did one of these, and I did not bring my water. I know this is a gigantic water, but I did not bring my water a couple months ago, and I almost died on camera. It was bad. Jen from our marketing team had to run upstairs in the middle of the webinar and get me a bottle of water. I was like, ugh! I was dying. So, back to it. Sorry. As far as the programs go, right? The programs really are what the marketplace has to offer, if I'm being honest. We offer all of the different types of funding that are available to small businesses today, from AR lines and factoring to asset-based loans to purchase order financing, supply chain financing, equipment financing, commercial real estate, SBA, term loans, lines of credit, working capital. Right? There's a ton of products, but I don't want you guys to have to know all the products, all the ins and outs, and what that actually means. I am going to give you a very, very clear line in the sand. You have unsecured lending and you have secured lending. Secured lending it requires an asset. Right. So if it's inventory finance, the asset is the inventory. If it's equipment financing, the asset is the equipment. If it's a commercial real estate product, you best believe it's the commercial real estate that's the asset, right? If you're talking about the SBA, they want all the assets. Government-backed product, they want every asset, right? So our products are designed where we can do one of two things. We can leverage a particular asset within a business and get funding either for a new piece of equipment or a new real estate purchase, or even refinance real estate or utilize receivables within a business to get them access to funding, right? That is utilizing the asset, right? So that's secured lending. The other half of what we do is unsecured lending. And that means that there's no assets, no hard assets tied to any of the products that are being offered to a business owner. So think of it like a mortgage, right? A mortgage is tied to the home that you live in, right? Your credit card is not then tied to the home that you live in, right? So that's the difference between a business revolving line of credit and a commercial real estate loan. Is a business line of credit, you're still going to get access to cash, but it's not going to tie up an asset within the business. And now you may say to yourself, well, why would a business need access to these other types of funding if you guys can provide the funding for all those other things, right? Well, what ends up happening is businesses all of the time don't want to encumber their assets, don't want to tie that to a particular type of lending, because at the end of the day, that is a major advantage to the business. Having an asset is a very, very great tool to have access to if you're a business owner. So the last thing that you want to do is encumber debt on an asset, especially if it's for a growth opportunity or solving a quick challenge or maybe a cash flow crunch within the business, right? So that's why we see most of the borrowers that we work with end up leveraging some form of unsecured debt within the business so that they can save that asset for in the future, god forbid anything happens, right? As well as they didn't have to encumber any debt on that asset in case they want to sell it or liquidate that asset within the business, right? So there's a, like I said, a line in the sand that I want you guys to think about, and that is just how the capital is structured and whether we are utilizing an asset or we are not. Most of what we do, believe it or not, is actually not use the asset, right? So how can we help you guys? Right now that you guys have a deeper understanding of the products, of the platform, who we are as ROK, how can we actually help you? Right. And I always do a very good job of getting way too ahead of myself on this slide. So I'm going to try to slow it down a little bit and try to remember what's coming in the in the presentation here, but I never do, and I'm always going to over explain. So I hope you guys are ready. As far as marketing goes, the out of the box experience really has been thought through from top to bottom. We provide 3 different experiences for your marketing, meaning that you can utilize the ROK brand, which we've developed quite a brand in just 5 short years of having this ROK brand. We can co-brand, where you can utilize your brand alongside the ROK branding, or we can white label, meaning it's just your brand, our information, and your colors to really push the message to the connections that you're coming across, right? So once you decide which of those experiences is what you want for your customers, well, then inside of each of those experiences, there are text and email templates. There are various different landing pages and customized marketing flyers and brochures that you can hand out or print or even email through PDF. There are a ton of different I mean, how much social media content? Tens of thousands of social media posts at this point. Like, we literally, I think we share what, 8 a day or something like that, like 8 brand new posts every day. Yes, some are ROK branded. Yes, some are meant to be co-branded. Yes, some are white labeled, right? So everybody in every experience is getting access to literally everything, right? And our belief is the more we give to you, the more you can go out there and be dangerous, right? If you didn't have these resources, you couldn't utilize them, right? So we have enough to submerge your inbox. If you are looking for more information, more flyers, or even something we don't have, feel free to ask. I mean, I remember it wasn't that long ago, but I see Marilyn, who's in the room helping out on the marketing piece. It wasn't that long ago we were requested to build out some Spanish speaking flyers and some Spanish speaking and some Spanish written out templates that she helped us change over from English to Spanish, right? Translate. That was the word, not change over. Translate. I couldn't think of it. It's still early, guys. Take it easy on me, will you? But no, she helped us translate those from English to Spanish. So we have a ton of Spanish flyers. If there's something that you don't see and you want, just ask your point of contact, and we could certainly make that happen for you. Sales, right? Sales is what we do. We believe we're a sales organization. We're a volume-based shop, meaning that we move in with wholesale pricing and really utilize the volume game where we will sell pretty much whatever makes the most sense to a business owner, right? If that's the longest term, they're going to get the longest term. If that's the cheapest rate, they're going to get the cheapest rate. That's what we do. But understanding your multiple points of contact throughout our team, everybody gets a partnerships advisor or business development officer. They're the same person. They just have two different titles. Because we updated that, and some people still say partnership advisor, some people say business development officer, whatever. They're the first point of contact that you meet. Once you have business owners that you're working within the pipeline, though, we introduce you to a dedicated account executive that's going to work with you and the business owners, as well as our underwriting team and credit committee, so that when you have a business owner that's applying for funding, you have somebody that has a ton of experience in the industry and a ton of experience in helping business owners understand what they've qualified for and how they can ultimately leverage that funding as a member of your team. So feel free to leverage all of your points of contact, as well as myself, to really help you go above and beyond it within the partnership. And technology, I can't stress this one enough. Like, we should probably even do like a webinar specific to proprietary rock technology. Guys, we work with a lot of banks and lenders out there, right? They can easily offer funding to a business directly, right? A lot of them do, right? But why do they leverage us, and why do they love working with Rock? It's because of this right here, if I'm being honest, because we have taken the initiative of being a technology first company, right? So the amount of proprietary technology that we give you guys direct access to, we give your customers direct access to, is actually insane. From how they can apply and connect their bank through Plaid and be able to get instantaneous decisions, be able to leverage those decisions within the partner portal, within their own customer portals. It's really a fully it's an advanced system, and you're talking to somebody who's basically technology illiterate. So, I'm sorry that I'm very basic when it comes to those things, but I still remember when the Keurig came out and changed coffee making forever. You went from needing to wait. I remember being a kid. My mom used one of those like filters on top of a coffee mug, where she would put a coffee filter in it, put coffee in it, and then pour hot tea water, hot water that she had boiled in a tea kettle over the top. And it took her 15, 20 minutes to make her cup of coffee in the morning. Now you can have your cup of coffee inside of 60 seconds simply by pressing a button. I don't even wake up to the press of a button. I can't even imagine it, right? So just understand that, again, I'm a little technology illiterate, but what I do know about the technology that we offer is it's industry leading. From our very first things that we do within our processes all the way through funding. So it's all built for you guys to leverage. It's all built for you guys to take advantage of. And I'm hoping that the more we get to work together, the more I'll get to explain things to you, right? So here's our partnerships team, the business development officers, those, oh, that went too quick. Sorry. Normally I like to go quick through this slide, but not that quick. This is our business development officers. This is the team that you guys are working directly with, especially if you're just getting onboarded. So shout out to those guys. They do a great job of being your points of contact here. Diving back in, though, right, and just continuing to hopefully simplify the process for you while over explaining. It really is a very simple process that we don't require much of you for. You can be involved as much as you'd like, right? That's the first thing that I want to explain. This is not necessarily how you have to do it, right? If you want to be more involved, be more involved. But we also have a lot of partners that this isn't their core business. They don't really have a full understanding. So basically, they make a referral over to Rock, and they leverage our ability to educate that borrower, understand what they're utilizing the money for, get them approved, funded, and they just sit back and wait for the commission. I like to call it the 3 N's is all you have to provide: a name, a number, and a need, right? That last one is probably the most important, if I'm being honest. And the reason I say that is because we're not here we're not here as a company that gives away free money, right? Nobody gives away free money, not even the government. The government doesn't even give away free money to businesses, right? And if you look at a bank's portfolio, the riskiest part of a bank's portfolio is the small business lending portion, right? So why do I tell you that? I tell you that because capital comes at a cost. Right. So if there is not a need for funding, it doesn't make sense for somebody to borrow money from ROK Financial because it's going to come at a cost, right? And like I said before, dollars have to make sense, right? So when you look at the cost of capital, does that outweigh the cost of either the challenge that you're facing or the opportunity that you're facing? And if so, if the cost of capital is greater than those things, then it doesn't make sense to take the financing. And what I can tell you is we're not going anywhere, right? And what I mean by that is, we have plenty of borrowers who come to us the first time, they have a little bit of sticker shock, right? They weren't aware that, rates are expensive, right? Despite them coming down a bit yesterday, rates are still expensive. And what that means is they really need to have a true use of funds or a true need for the financing, right? And when they do have that true need, that's when it makes sense, right? So what we typically see is people will apply with us. They may, 30 or 60 days later, end up actually taking the funding, right? I know I told you about one yesterday that applied the night before and got funding. That doesn't always happen. Right, as great as that was, and as simple as that was, we would love for that to be the case every time, but that's just not the nature of the beast. A lot of times, what happens is a business owner needs to understand their options, understand their opportunity, and then at that point, they decide whether moving forward makes sense or not. So again, dollars need to make sense, and then we all make commission, right? That's how that works. This is a slide that we recently added, and to be honest, it's one of my favorites because I think that this one provides more value and valuable insights than really any other. Maybe my contact info was one of the ones that might be a little bit better, but I'm gonna go with this one for today. Uh, but no, just to break it down for you guys really quick, the three check marks that you see on the screen here: 3 to 6 months time in business, $10,000 per month in revenue, and a business checking account. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of insight. It's not $10,000 plus per month in revenue. We advertise that because what happens is people will always overestimate what they make and then come in under that. The true actual number is looking at the last 3 to 6 months of bank statements. In their business checking account, they have to have deposited an average of $5,000 or greater into that checking account, right? The only exception to that rule would be, hey, the average is, let's call it $4,500. The only exception to that rule would be if the most previous month is greater than $7,500. Now, throw all of that information away. If I was to be in your shoes, if I was to be a partner of ROK and I wanted to make good referrals, I wanted to know that my customers had a really great chance of getting approved. Yes, minimum requirements are great to know, but what are the bread and butter requirements are even better, right? So what I would tell you is 15, 20, 25, $30,000 per month in revenue, and you're really going to see the entire portfolio of lending that we offer open up to you, right? The core of what we do, I would say, is probably loans between uh, 30,000 to 500,000, maybe $1 million. That's where we probably do 85% of the lending that we do, right? And businesses that qualify for that much money are typically making anywhere between $250,000 a year and $10 million a year, if I'm being honest, right? So we provide funding as little as 10,000 all the way up to $10 million in under 24 hours. Top industries like you see on the screen here: healthcare, construction, restaurants, transportation. I threw a few at you guys earlier as well, like auto repair, professional and personal service businesses, as well as wholesale distribution, manufacturing. These are all top industries for us. We really do. we really, really do have a wide range of funding options available. Therefore, we don't really have any industry restrictions. To be honest, one of the most highly restricted industries out there, highly, not no play on words there, is the cannabis industry, right? But we have a ton of experience and a ton of products available to those cannabis businesses that are operating in states where it's legal, either medically or recreationally, right? So even if you're coming across what others would view as taboo, what others would view as automatic declines, those are the types of deals that we typically do a great job of getting approved and funded, right? Two of the industries that are on your screen right now, construction and transportation, are two of the most restricted industries at the moment, right? As far as banks go, as far as lenders go, like those industries are constantly scrutinized at the very forefront of when our economy starts to do one of these things, and they don't really know what's coming next. The second there's any uncertainty, construction and transportation always take a hit. Those requirements go through the roof, right? But there are top industries. Like, they are literally the top two. The top two are transportation, construction. Next is healthcare, medical, dental, right? But like, they are the top industries, and I just told you that they're the most restricted. The reason for that is because we help when others can't. Right now, I'm not saying that that's all that we do. In fact, there's a lot of times that we beat out a local bank or somebody else's funding options where we're able to get extremely competitive. But where we see time and time again where we're able to really, really assist is those businesses that might not know where to turn for capital, right? So if you have a newer restaurant, less than 5 years in business, there's not a bank in America that's lending them $1, right? That's why you got to have a relationship with somebody like ROK Financial. And let's face it, there's some really successful restaurants that maybe started a year or two ago, or maybe 3 years ago. Here on Long Island, summer is a really, really, it changes everything. Every town has people walking around. All of the shops are open. Like, literally, it's night and day between the three other seasons. It's so much so that there's restaurants, retail shops that they actually close for the other months of the year, right? So we even understand those types of environments where there's a true seasonality in businesses, and we're able to position them to get funding. So definitely leverage us, leverage our knowledge, leverage our experience to help you and your customers when those customers are looking for funding, right? Some of the top states that we lend in are the ones on the screen. Some other ones, Jersey, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Oh, Pennsylvania's there. Jersey, Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, as well as really Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina. Really, what I would say about this is, if you were to look at the population map, right? Go online, Google a population map of the United States, which it would plot where all the people are, right? And you took our funded clients and you put that map over the top of the population map, it looks exactly the same. It looks exactly the same. If there are people there and businesses there, we're lending money there. That's just the way it goes, right? So, I once heard that nowhere is a nook and cranny anymore. Everywhere has Starbucks, right? So, anywhere that you're seeing businesses, I promise you that we have partners and businesses that we've funded right in your backyard. So, look forward to really working some of those deals with you, and getting a chance to connect with you guys, and explore those businesses further. Couple tips. This is again a newer slide. We do this partner webinar pretty much every month for our new partners. So if you are new this month and you want to come back next month, feel free. We always add new info here and there. But just some tips that that as I was going through this webinar and I constantly found myself mentioning these things, I was like, we should probably make them a slide. That would make sense, right? So we made a slide, right? Tony's tips. First one is get to know your funding team, right? And the reason is because the more you know them, the more they know you, the more you can leverage each other, right? I view it like a pick and roll, right? I don't know how familiar you guys are with basketball, right? But a pick and roll is one person sets a pick, The other person, as that person comes across with the ball, the person who set the pick, they roll to the rim, and we throw them the pass, and they score. Right. At the end of the day, it's all about working together. And what I've found is if we don't really know each other, it's tough to say that we can truly work together. But the more we know each other, the more we understand each other's businesses, the better we can work together. Right. Leverage all of Rock's products, and this one isn't for everybody, right? Meaning, if you offer SBA, or you offer business lines of credit, or you offer asset-based lending or commercial real estate or whatever it is, fix and flip, like whatever the product is, like obviously don't do that with us, right? Continue to do that the way that you're doing it. But if you're somebody that you don't offer funding, like don't limit yourself to what Rock offers in just one arena, meaning don't just offer a business line of credit, don't just offer term loans, because what you end up doing is you're really setting yourself back. Business owners don't really understand the products that are out there. Like, for example, our number one requested product is a business line of credit. And it's definitely in the top three of the products that we service. But most people request a line of credit simply because it's like a knee jerk reaction. They say two things: one, I want a line of credit; two, what's the rate? Those are the two things that they're just conditioned to say. As consumers, we've been conditioned to say that, right? What I can tell you is a lot of times they end up with a product that is not a line of credit, and a lot of times the people that ask for other products end up with a line of credit. And the reason is because it depends on what they're using the money for, right? And how they're planning on leveraging the capital that would actually determine what product would make the most sense, right? So make sure you're leveraging as many of our products as you can that make the most sense for you. Build your residual, right? By referring other partners, right? You can introduce us to other partners. I don't know how many of you guys. I don't know how many of you guys on this call came from other partners, but I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say it's the bulk of you. And the reason is because over 80% of our partners are introduced to us through another partner. As much as we do advertise on LinkedIn and social media, and as great as these webinars are at spreading the word, nothing spreads the word like word of mouth. Right. So if you know others that are working with business owners, we'll set up a customized partnership with them, and you can actually earn an override on all the deals that they fund going forward. Attend our webinars. We do multiple webinars a month. I actually have two today, but you can join this webinar. We always do a monthly webinar based on a topic. What's this month's topic? I can't remember. Oh, time kills all deals. We were just talking about speed. You would think I would remember that, right? Time kills all deals. If you want to learn a little bit more about why speed matters so much, we're doing that webinar in just 2 weeks from today, the third Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can feel free to register for that. But really, if there's any other topics, jump on our YouTube. We have a playlist of all of our past webinars. You can scroll through. You can see all the topics that we've spoken on in the past. Leverage that information, guys. The more you know, the more dangerous you'll be. Right. We also offer in-person events. We recently just held our Q2 quarterly mastermind here in person. We're currently planning out our next one. So as soon as we have a date and a time for that, we'll communicate that back to you guys. But really quick, would you guys be interested in coming in, spending a day? Let me know in the chat. Would you be interested in coming in, spending the day, and getting to understand the products more deeply, getting to meet your points of contact? And we always have some sort of speaker there, whether it's marketing related, sales related, something that really allows you guys to take more than just the ROK experience away from those things. But if you're interested in that, feel free to drop it in the chat. And next time we announce one of those things, I'll make sure that you guys are one of the first people to know. The last one was free. Right. The first one we did, we charged $100 a person just to try to cover some cost. We had like 35 people come. The second one we did for free. We had like 55 people come. I can tell you it's probably going to be a free thing from here on out. So shout out to Jeanette and Lisa. Would love to see you guys. Would love to meet in person. And anybody else that wants to throw in the chat that they would also be interested, feel free to do so. But we'll definitely make sure we share that with at least you guys who are interested. And make sure you keep an eye out for that. There we go. Sorry, it wasn't working to go to the next slide there. Couple quick success stories, right? The reason I like to share success stories is simply because I want you to understand the types of businesses that we work with, and what they're doing with the capital, right? A lot of times people think of us as like somebody who only helps startup businesses. In fact, it's actually very difficult to help startup businesses. I'll get to that, especially when we get to the Q&A. I'm sure there'll be somebody that asks, "Can you help a startup?" And I'll dive a little bit deeper into that. But really, where we see our bread and butter and where we're able to do the most are for businesses like you see on the screen here. 15 years time in business. They had existing loans. They were looking to get some new equipment. Boom, plumbing company gets funded, hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? It's a very, very simple process to get access to upwards of $1 million, $2 million, $5 million for a business these days. It's really just about understanding what they need to apply and how to best paint that picture for underwriting, right? And that's what we assist with. Technology company, 11 years in business. They were looking to cover some operating expenses. They also had some outstanding accounts receivable. For those of you that don't know what accounts receivable is, that means that they have already finished work. That means that they have already done what they were supposed to do, and they're just waiting to get paid. Imagine this. You go to the local pizza place or the local deli in your neighborhood, right? And you get your sandwich from across the counter and they tell you, "Hey, you don't got to pay us for 30, 60, or 90 days." Right? They hand the pizza across the countertop and they tell you, "You know what? Pay us in 90 days." That doesn't happen, right? We're consumers. Consumers don't get terms. But businesses, they always have some form of net terms where they are able to receive goods or service, then be able to pay for them, receive the completed work, and then have to pay for them, right? So if you're working with a business that's business to business, like this technology company was, you might be waiting to get paid. And the longer you have to wait, what does that inhibit within your cash flow? What opportunities are you not able to take advantage of, right? This company was looking to start up some new contracts, and in doing so, they needed to purchase materials. They needed to cover operational expenses until that started to generate some revenue for them. So they were able to get access to $2.1 million to be able to cover that and be able to take on more work and again continue to make money within the business. When you're talking about $2.1 million, you're talking about interest rates that are decently high, right? There really has to be a true use of funds. But this company here, they were going to take this $2 million plus, and they were going to turn it into $5, $6, $7 million before the end of the year by completing the work that they were looking to get started on, right? So a lot of times, businesses make a ton of money, and their ROI is extremely high because they know how dangerous they can be with an extra 50, 100, 150,000 or even $2 million within their business, right? I got a great piece of advice a long time ago. Don't put your brain in their wallet, and it holds true to today. Only a business owner knows how dangerous they can be with extra capital within the business. So we provide the service that allows them to understand what is the best way to structure that and what is the best capital that they can qualify for. If you haven't partnered with us yet, and it seems like a lot of you guys are already partnered with us, so shout out to you guys that are. But if you aren't and you loved today's presentation, please, please, please scan this QR code on your screen here and become one of our newest Rockstar affiliates. We really do pride ourselves in giving you access to literally everything, from people to process to technology to marketing, really whatever you need to be successful. So please scan this QR code on your screen. If you are somebody that is already partnered with us, you just want to reach out, have a conversation with your point of contact, you're not sure who to call, feel free to shoot an email, call us, jump over to the website. The website is great because it has a ton of information, blogs and product info and all sorts of insights into the industry. And if you missed the QR code on the last screen, I put it up here for you guys again. And again, if you do have to jump, I told you this wouldn't be all that long, and looks like I'm talking a little too long today. But if you do have to jump, I appreciate you being on. I wish all of you a great day. Hopefully a ton of success in in working with ROK moving forward. Really appreciate you guys for being on with us, and thanks again for joining. Hope you guys have a rock star day and into the weekend, and we'll talk to all you guys soon. Feel free to join us on our next webinar. Thanks everybody.